Irie friends, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be planting up some carrots. I'm gonna take a little seat with you guys. I told you guys this year that 365 days we're going to be needing to have some stuff in the bed, right? And we have the bed that we normally put our sweet potatoes in, and the problem is well, not really a problem, but something that I realized is I don't put my sweet potatoes in until the beginning of June. So from January onwards, there's nothing in this bed. It's just sitting. So we want to make sure that we are constantly having our beds work for us. So we are planning to put, well, I'm planning to put carrots in this bed. And carrots is a cool season crop, so you could plant it for early spring, and then you could also plant it again in the fall. Essentially, you want to plant your carrots when the soil temperature is minimum 40 degrees. So I've been taking my compost thermometer and I've been coming out here and checking the soil temps because I don't want it to just be sitting here for a long time without germinating. I want to give them the optimal temperature to germinate. You also want, wherever you're planting your carrots, because this is a root crop, you want them to have nice loose soil, right? And then you don't want to put too much fertilizer in this. You want to give them something just basic, not too much of anything, like your cow manure and what I'm gonna put in today, which is chicken manure, just to give it some boost. You also want to decide what type of carrots you're gonna plant. So if you have a space that is limited in terms of depth, you wanna choose the correct variety of carrots that maybe only grows 6 inches long, or like myself that I'm planting in ground and I have a good depth that is really loose soil. I could plant a carrot variety that has a depth of like 12 inches, right? So that's something that you want to be mindful about. So I'm going to link just a resource for you guys that gives you the different varieties and their lengths so that you could make a good decision for what you are trying to grow. You don't have to plant your carrots in ground. You can also plant them in containers. The same thing applies as far as fertilizer. You'll just be maybe adding a little bit more because there's no added nutrients from the microbes in the soil. So you're going to be adding a little bit more when it comes to planting anything in containers. But the same thing applies with knowing your size containers and planting the correct carrots based on the root length. Okay, so I have this bed here. You guys see me plant peas in this bed. You guys see me plant sweet potatoes in this bed. This is the loosest soil that I have in my garden. The soil here is currently still pretty dry, but we are expecting rain in the forecast. Tomorrow is supposed to rain for a bit towards the end of the day, and then we're supposed to have like a full day of rain following that. So I'm planning to get a lot of things planted, but we are going to start out with the carrots. So first thing that I want to do is I went ahead and grabbed a bucket and filled it with water. And we're just going to go ahead and hydrate the soil a bit, just kind of old-fashioned, grab a container and just pour it out. But before we do that, we are also needing to clear out all of this larger things that are in the bed. Carrots are pretty finicky seeds. They don't want to be competing with anything in the soil. So all of these acorn, rocks, all of that stuff, that has to go. So we are going to be using our cultivator to get rid of that, and then we're going to flatten out our surface, and then we're going to come back and I'll give you guys an overview of the variety of carrot that I'm going to be planting, as well as exactly how far apart and just the plan moving forward. Up here, this bed is falling apart, so at some point I'm going to have to replace this. So either this year or next year, I'm either going to have to shore up the sides or replace it with brick. I'm gonna go grab my bigger fork. I think that would be my bigger rake. I think that would be much easier. And because there's so much space in between here, I'm really not getting the finer rocks out of here. One of my broken rakes. Just chucking it in the pathway. This is something that I could have definitely brought out my sifter for. I think that would have worked really well so that I'm not getting rid of so much of this good soil. But I can't be bothered, so there it goes. As usual, I forgot something for this project. Where's our chicken poop? Chicken poop. I think that's all I'm forgetting. Oh, let me show you guys. These are pretty much acclimated to outside. That was the easiest hardening off I've ever done. I think it's only been 4 days. But like I said, growing it in the cold room definitely helped. And, you know, we'll see how well they fare once the rain starts later tomorrow. We are going to just sprinkle some of this chicken manure. We're not going to go too heavy. We're just going to do a light, broad casting. Now we're going to add the water. Just gonna dump this remainder. We're going to just let this saturate the soil for a little bit, get down and deep. Probably shouldn't have leveled it before the water because now I had to go back in and do a little re-leveling. But I really wanted to make sure that I saturate the soil because carrots need constant moisture in order to germinate. And even though the soil is a little bit moist, I needed it to be a little bit more moist. So I'm going to be using my little dibble dabble thingy that my husband made me last season, and I'm just going to essentially follow the pattern, but I'm going to keep my rows about 6 inches apart just to give the carrots room to, you know, size up and thing. If I see any rocks as I go along, I'm just making sure that I remove it. And what I'm doing is just pressing down so that this gives me about a 1/2 inch of depth for me to place the seeds. And then I'm going to actually come back in and sift some potting mix on top just so that it's nice and loose and without any big objects that could block the carrot seeds from germinating. So we made our little crop circle. I'm actually going to retighten this and make myself a little seat. Oh no, that's a bad idea. That wasn't gonna work. I have 2 carrots here. We have the Romance F1 hybrid, and we have the Kyoto Red from Baker's Creek, and both of these are pelleted seeds. So pelleted seeds is just when they do a coating over the seeds, so it makes smaller seeds easier to see. The coating is usually like white, because that's usually the problem with carrot seeds. It's hard to kind of see where you're putting it, how much you're putting, so it's essential that you thin. But if you buy something like a pelleted seed, you won't have to thin as much because you're able to place your seeds exactly where you want it. The only downside with pelleted seed is that you have to use it within the year. I purchased it back in 2021, so I'm definitely going to try to use all of this up because I don't know how the germination is going to be. If I knew that I was purchasing pelleted seeds, I most likely would not have bought this one. Actually, scratch that, because if I mostly just plant these pelleted seeds and they don't germinate, then I am out of luck as far as getting a harvest from these carrots. So I'm just gonna do the outer ring in these seeds. And then you see how large these seeds are. I'm able to place these exactly where I want them. So that is definitely the upside of buying pelleted seeds. I'm not even gonna place these. Just going to scatter all of them. But there's no point in me holding on to these seeds. Spread them out as much as I can. Here's the seeds. I'm not doing too bad with this spacing thing. Those are the birds just telling everybody that I'm planting seeds and to get ready to eat them, because that's just the type of birds that I have around these parts. I think this looks good to me, guys. It's gonna be it. One other thing that I forgot to mention, because I am succession planting, something that I am making a point to notate is how long these take to get up to size for harvesting. That way I know that I'll have enough time to harvest and then replenish the soil and plant something new in the bed. If you are doing succession planting, that's something that is really important. You definitely don't want to pick a variety that takes too long and jumps into the time that you have to plant your other crop. But that is going to be it for this video, you guys. It kind of looks a mess. I would have taken time to brush all the dirt back into the planter, but I don't have on gloves and I'm really afraid of getting splinters. The last thing that I'm going to do is to just put this netting. Actually, I'm going to do it right now. I have this bird netting, the same netting that you see that I use for the seedlings when I'm hardening them off. I have a bunch of netting, but this is the exact same one that I'm using here, just so that the birds don't come and peck at the soil, because they do have a habit of doing that. One other thing, I purchased this bad boy a few weeks ago and I'm going to give her a try. This is Rudy Judy and she's going to be guarding my carrot seeds while I'm not out here. We'll see how well that goes. I'm just going to be mounting her. It has a hold under the bottom, so I'm just going to take this out and put it on something, and she's going to be essentially on guard while these carrot seeds germinate and get up to size. So I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Anything that I use in this video and can link for you guys will be down in the description bar. So thank you guys again, and until next time, Irie up yourself. Bye. So it's been a few days. I remember somebody I call her Rudy Judy. Alright, now she a bad girl, Rudy Judy, cause not one single bird land in a this garden. Not one peck in a me mesh, and me normally get wally per peck in a me mesh. Rudy bad girl Judy, there for stay. Alright. After you plant your seeds, make sure say you water them. Yeah? Either you use your hose, if your hose hook up. Right now mine no hook up. So you have to, well, me personally I have to go take out one water can. And my water can have one piece where it come out like rain, just heavy water drop out on the soil and the seed. So that you want to use, keep your soil moist. Me see where people use cardboard or a piece of board, and then they just check every day until a seed then come up, and then they take up a board. But make sure say you monitor it, cause if it start dry out, your seed done. Alright, we don't want to waste no seed. So check pan the carrot them. Alright, Irie yourself later.